What's up guys, this is Ray and welcome to Asian Filmist, and the movie we'll be talking about today is the 2006 film Udon, which is directed by Motohiro Katsuyuki. Udon stars Yusuke Santamaria, Konishi Manami, and Tortoise Matsumoto, and I would say that Udon is one of my absolute most favorite Japanese films of all time. It's definitely in my top 10. So as the story goes, Udon is about this dream chaser, if you will, by the name of Kosuke, and he tries to make it big in the States. He heads off to New York to attempt to have a career in stand-up comedy. He unfortunately fails, so he returns to his hometown, which happens to be Sanuki in Kagawa Prefecture, which is home to Udon, as the name of the movie hints at. But one of the reasons why he left Kagawa in the first place is that in his hometown there is nothing but udon. There's udon everywhere. It's like if you stay in his hometown, that's all you're gonna do. You're gonna have a career with udon, and he didn't want any of that. So that's what inspired him to leave in the first place. But little does he know that he's about to rediscover his love for udon. He didn't always hate udon. He loved udon a lot as a child, but he's about to rediscover his love for udon, and also he's going to inspire a lot of other people from around the country to love udon as well. But there are going to be some challenges while he's being instrumental in igniting this nationwide love for udon. He's going to have to reconnect with some of his family, most specifically his dad. But as they say in this movie, udon is Japanese soul food. So when it comes to the positives of udon, well, I just love almost everything in this movie. From the top of the list, it's got to be the performances. Yusuke Santamaria was likable as Kosuke, the lead character. He goes and acts and tries to follow his dreams without thinking second thought. But then he gets kind of too ahead of himself and he's a bit stubborn. But in the end, he has a good heart. And it's because of this heart and this passion that he ignites this love for udon into other people. And of course, Yusuke Santamaria and the rest of the main cast have excellent chemistry with each other. It's just fun watching them talk back and forth, bicker, and just talk about udon. The way the conversations that these characters have with udon, it just makes you hungry just by listening, and makes you want to go into Kagawa Prefecture and try the udon for yourself. And this movie features a lot of cameos or small parts by other actors, many of whom have gone on to have bigger careers. Muro Tsuyoshi is in this. You can find Terashima Susumu in a kind of a dream sequence. And you get other big actors like Oizumi Yo, who kind of pops in this one short scene when they pop into a restaurant. You get all sorts of different stars popping in. And if you're familiar with them, you see them pop in just to say hi. It's a lot of fun. But for me, the most entertaining actor to be in this movie is Tortoise Matsumoto, who happens to be the lead singer of Ulfus or Urufurus, which is a classic Japanese rock band. They've been around for a long time and they still continue to go strong. But what's kind of one of the most entertaining scenes for me in this movie is the scene when Yusuke Santamaria and Tortoise Matsumoto are on stage. They're in front of all their colleagues, and they decide to sing a song in celebration. Then they go on to sing one of Ulful's well-known songs, Banzai. And this scene, it's kind of meta, if you will. It's almost breaking the fourth wall, because they're like, yeah, sing along if you know it, because obviously Tortoise Matsumoto is not his character, his real life persona in this movie. He plays a totally made up persona specifically written for this movie. But the fact that, he sings one of his songs, and his song's even playing the radio, it's almost kind of breaking the fourth wall, if you will. And for me, that was just a lot of fun. Just hearing him sing Banzai was good enough for me. And I thought the pacing was excellent. The presentation was very well done. And with the pacing, first of all, it centers around Kosuke landing a job, this part-time job at this magazine, trying to sell magazines to local businesses. But at first, they don't want any of his magazines. The magazines usually don't sell well. But then he has this idea that they should start a column in the magazine, talking about the different types of udon restaurants you can find, both local and famous, mostly the local joints, or rather the hidden joints. And as they go from restaurant to restaurant for research and just trying to see what each of these noodle houses have in store for potential customers, the way it just fast-paced and is genuinely energetic. And to see them pop in and out and seeing udon get put on the table, it doesn't take very long for the udon to get put on the table. It's exciting to watch. I mean, I think all of us, we live in an age we love looking at photos of food on Instagram, and to see a countless amount of bowls of udon getting put in front of you, it's appetizing, most definitely. And yes, you will get hungry for a bowl of udon. There are plenty of shots, so they just place them all in front of you like boom, 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 and it's like, I want that, I want that, I want that one too. Yeah, maybe that one too. If you haven't tried udon, it's definitely a noodle dish you gotta try. It feels a bit more on the healthy side compared to ramen, but it's a delicious dish nonetheless. And through the course of the movie, whether it's part of the scenes or part of the dialogue, they go into a lot of interesting detail of how these noodles are meticulously crafted and prepared and served to the customers, and even some narrative on advantages and disadvantages of handcrafting udon versus using a machine to make it. Even small details like the golden ratio when it comes to the measurement of the noodles, or even the best ratio to have when it's noodles to eggs, stuff like that you don't often think about. It's interesting that they put these kind of details here. And of course, you get beautiful shots of Kagawa Prefecture. It's a pretty rural prefecture, and needless to say, you get a lot of green in this movie, but the shots of Kagawa are so beautiful. It makes you want to travel, legit. Like, for those of you who have not been to Japan, one thing you should know before traveling to Japan is that each area, each town, each prefecture has their own kind of locally promoted goods, if you will. Like, for example, when you're in Fukuoka, you go for their ramen. When you go to Osaka, you go for their takoyaki, stuff like that. And for Kagawa, of course, it's the udon. And this movie, just seeing them talk about the process of making udon and seeing all the bowls get in place in front of you, it'll make you want to travel to Kagawa Prefecture and go on your own udon pilgrimage, which is what they have the country doing in this story. And underneath the layers of food talk and just food footage, this movie has a ton of heart. And after all, they bring up that udon is Japanese soul food, and it really lives up to its name in the context of this story. Because after all, udon is the pride of Kagawa Prefecture, and they mentioned that it brings smiles to everyone who eats it. And this kind of connection to udon, it's also the core of Kosuke's relationship with his dad. And the reason why it's important to his family is because Kosuke's dad is an udon chef himself. So other topics they talk about in this movie, the differences between an artificially made hype versus a genuine love for the food. Like I said, Kosuke, he and his magazine company, they try to get people excited about traveling to Kagawa and trying the udon there. But it's like I also mentioned, udon is the pride of Kagawa, so everyone who lives there, they genuinely love the food. It's going to be around for the rest of their lives, and it's just a part of daily life there. And on the topic of hyped up trends versus genuine love for the food, this movie also goes into a little bit of a narrative regarding the pluses and minuses of tourist booms. We see when the tourists come in, business is booming, a lot of people are making money, but then the downside of it is because there's so many people, the quality of noodles in some shops takes a dip. And also, you see a lot of trash getting placed on the streets. When people travel, they can't find the right places to dispose of their garbage. You're just gonna throw it on the floor. It happens in a lot of places. And see beautiful Kagawa get thrashed with garbage, it's kind of heartbreaking when you see it. But I think the main kind of story or theme that they go with in Udon is the prodigal son story, where Kosuke, he travels, he tries to chase his dreams because he doesn't want to stay in one place, but then he comes back to his hometown and rediscovers his love for everything. As far as the negatives I have to say about Udon, well, it's not really a negative. I have to say it's more like I have mixed opinions about it, mixed feelings about it, and it's that Udon feels like it should have been two movies. Kind of it feels like it actually is two movies. I should correct myself. There's a first half and the second half. The first half is Kosuke joining the magazine, and he tries to make this, he tries to ignite this boom, this udon boom, so that people from all over the country come to Kagawa and try the different udon shops. And the reason why he tries to set off this boom is so he can sell magazines, because he wants to earn more pay. And that's the first story. The second is Kosuke trying to repair his relationship with his dad, because as I said earlier, Kosuke travels to New York to follow his dreams, but he does so without his dad's approval, really, and he kind of leaves himself in all his debt, and the two aren't exactly on the best terms in their relationship. So yeah, the second movie would be Kosuke repairing his relationship with his family and restoring his love for udon, because it makes him seem like he absolutely hates it, and that's what inspires him to leave the country and chase his dreams, because there's nothing but udon in town. You know, despite the movie feeling like two movies squeezed into one, both of kind of different subgenres, I thought that everything in the story tied up very nicely at the end. But overall, what do I have to say about Udon? Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's one of my favorite Japanese movies of all time, and for good reason. It has as much entertainment value, as much heart, as it does the amount of scenes that make you hungry for udon. And it's sincerely heartwarming, full of tearjerker moments, both of the sad kind and the moving, motivating kind. And it's definitely, needless to say, a recommendation to watch. But yes, those are just my thoughts on Udon. What did you guys think? What kind of questions do you guys have? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow on Facebook and Twitter. And by all means, please support Asian Females on Patreon. It definitely helps the channel a lot. And hey, did you know we have a Discord server so we can all come together and talk about Asian films? You can find the link in the description area below. And yes, that's about it for me. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hope to catch you all again in the next video. Take it easy.